Good afternoon, everyone. This is the official YouTube channel of IEEE Student Chapter for NSEC. I am Farooq Aziz, EC undergrad from third year, and today Computer Intelligence Society, along with Computer Science Department, have organized a series talk on evolutionary computing, uh, covering core concepts and major algorithms of on this field. Especially survival of the fittest is one of them. Today we have with us Dr. Soumi Dutta, Associate Professor of Institute of Engineering Management, that is IEM. She is a first class first gold medalist in M.Tech CS in the year 2010, and she is a very own NSEC alumni. She has also three Indian patents along with one Australian. She has published journals which have been published in international journals for 4 times, 29 conferences, and so many to talk about. So I'll request Aditya to add ma'am to the screen. So without further ado, ma'am, the screen is yours.
Okay, thank you, all of you. And especially, I want to thank Dr. Anupam Ghosh. He's also my mentor, my teacher. So I want to thank Professor and to all the students, and I want to show my gratitude to all my teachers because I'm very happy to share my experience with you all. Not being an academician, and especially I feel very special because I got a platform to share with you all my research journey, that how I can add some value in all. And the journey begins basically from my engineering life. Overall, I after before basically NSEC, I was associated with Techno India Group. I have completed my BTech from there, and then after I just joined NSEC, and it was a nice experience. And when I'm just getting in touch with you guys, I can remember my college days. So it's a very good experience, I think. So very good afternoon to all of you. So this is quite a highlight already you guys have mentioned, so I'm skipping the highlight parts. I'm not introducing a lot, and directly I'm going to the topic. So today actually the topic is evolutionary computing. It's a lecture series organized by IEEE. Seriously, I'm really involved in IEEE events, so I know that different times IEEE try to organize all the members of IEEE, what we are trying to organize different sort of events. So basically these are really effective and also help all the academicians, students in different way. So apart from our chalk and talk learning and online mode learning, so these are the some extra inputs what we need to enhance ourselves. So first of all, it's a very good concept, and already I think Dr. Ramlan Chakraborty has already started with that series. I had a talk with Anupam sir. He told me. So a few part already you have seen. So today my highlight of the talk will be basically to introduce you with the evolutionary computing, genetic algorithm, and later on in different areas how you can implement. So some implementation based, some application based work I will be showing you, how you can contribute all the subjects and all the concepts in our real life in to solve different sort of problem. So basically, we know that evolutionary computing, it's one of the subfield which has come from AI, and it is extensively used for to solve this different sort of optimization problem, and the continuous optimization problem also we can solve using this. So this is not nothing a new concept. Basically, it has come, and the computer science scientist has just adopted this particular techniques, that what we used to follow in our daily life, in our daily human being, not only human being, in all the living creatures, how we try to follow this, how we have developed ourselves when we have invented by God. After that, what are the different stages we have come across to become nowadays how we are. Many times we have seen the how the genetic codes are getting changed nowadays. It's one of the hot topic, we can say, Not nowadays, last 2 years, this is a constant trending topic, that corona. Here also you can see that some new variants are coming, so there also the things are also happening. Some new evolutionary computing we can also just come across with this, because every time when a human being or any sort of living creatures, how they are taking strategy, how they are living their lives, so getting inspired from all this, we are trying to implement few of the conventional theory in computer science. So that can be some genetic algorithm, that can be evolutionary programming, genetic programming, ant colony optimization, swarm intelligence. So different sort of optimization algorithms are there, because every time we are also following in our life survival for the fetus. So definitely not only in our for our own revolution, for in practical sense in our daily life also. If you're going for a job, there also you will try to survive in a better way. Who already survived, they will try to perform something better. So every time we keep on optimization, have this thing in our mind, we have to optimize something, and we will try to go and we will try to reach for the or try to achieve for the best thing in our life. So these are some basic concepts which are basically from which the computer science scientists always try to get motivated, and they try to build up something new. And when we are having some of the conventional theory, nowadays we will try to add some new of the new things. We are trying to add some different dimensions, we are trying to add, we are trying to make our research successful. And not only if you do the research to write a paper, that is not a sufficient one. You should try do a research that how you can address your society, how you can solve some of the problem. That's why basically we need to do research. And today definitely I will be showing you some of the problems that how you can really address this sort of problem using evolutionary computing. So let's go to the next slide. Yeah, this is the genetic algorithm for two different area. Basically, I'm going to cover. So this is one of this is genetic algorithm. As we know that there are few of the from our how we have tried to find ourselves, how our genomes try to react basically. So using the same methodology, few of the mathematical computations we are trying to create, we try to expect that in even we are having a sort of solutions. So definitely we are trying to use different sort of GA operators, and we try to do the permutation combination, we do mutation, and after that we can go for finding some new solution which can be better than the previous one. Every time we do this in our regular life, and also from this inspiration GA has come out with some new dimension. Definitely. So already definitely when you have gone through AI, you have definitely gone through different sort of neural network model. Previously you can see when we are using neural network model, so different sort of problem we can add, but nowadays everywhere we are trying to use different sort of ensemble model, we are trying to use different sort of deep learning model, CNN model. So it is adding some new dimensions. So every time we are trying to enhancing the basic concept, and we are introducing something new. So this is the generic algorithm for the genetic one. You can see that I have tried to show you here. In the left hand side, there is one diagram. You can just see that here it is showing that how the population is in relation. So now what is that population? Definitely, you know that population we are trying to consider that whenever we are having some set of problems, we are trying to consider that we are having also some set of predictable outcomes. Now as these are basically optimization problems, so we will not will be happy with the population initialization, because population means that these are the probable solutions or some set of solutions, you can see, from where basically we are starting with genetic algorithm. And definitely whenever we are having some solution, we should have some fitness values along with this, because how much it is well fitted in the search space that we need to refine. And definitely then we have to come across with some TA operators along with this selection, crossover, and mutation. Basically this helps you, you can remember you have gone through Darwin's theory previously, that how the genes are getting selected, how we are trying to find out the crossover, and after mutation when the new cells are getting generated. It can be the combination of the previous genes, and sometimes with this combination some better outcome we can also get. So this is the exactly same thing in case of corona also. You can coming new variants are coming in after every 2 3 months. We are trying to find out with some new variants, delta, omicron, different variants are also coming. So actually they are also having this sort of crossover and mutation, and the new mutants when it is coming, sometimes it may be very much strong, and it may be happen the new variants are not that much strong. So which variant will be that much strong? So definitely that is affecting all the humans badly in all over the world, and which are actually not strong. So definitely, if the after all this, every time don't consider that if we just go for the genetic algorithm, we will be getting some good outcomes. You have seen there are several examples are also there, that after all these mutations crossover, when the changes are going, they are also getting distorted. So one of the previous example, this is a funny example I've given, but this is one such a thing where you can say that after so many migration, one or mutation or crossover, so ultimately one particular object, one particular area can be basically it can be finished. Even you can remember there are so many different sort of animals are also there, that those who were really previously in earlier ages, those who were present, but nowadays they are not present. So ultimately if they cannot fit with the survival strategy, they can be obsoleted. So same thing we will be also following in our cases. At the end I will be showing you a few of the advantages and advantages I will be also try to discuss with you all, definitely. And you can see that in the survival selection you have to choose, and definitely we will try to optimize our outcomes in such a way till now we are not getting a good outcome. And sometimes it may happen that you have reached already a saturation position, so in that case you can terminate your criteria. And definitely and this is the main strategy how you should perform your genetic algorithm. Now this is one small diagram also I have given you here, which will give you that this is a basic process, but how we should add with this our data analytics with our machine learning. For this purpose I have given you a very small diagram. You can see that if you are having some set of population, in the population we are trying to have the each and every row we try to represent, this is called basically chromosome. So we are having some chromosomes we can see, and we are trying to the using the different methods like selection, crossover. We are going through the entire genetic algorithm process, and we are trying to find out some best chromosomes. So here you can see in the right hand part that if you are having complete data set, you can divide it into two part, like in training set and test set. And then definitely different AN models, what you are getting from genetic algorithm, that you can feed in some machine learning model, and then you can go for testing and some good outcomes may come. So this is one sort of example which is going to help you in long run to find out that at the same time you are trying to optimize your outcome. At the same time, you if you're using a machine learning algorithm, this method is actually trying to help you out to reduce your dimensions. So these are the few terms what I'm mentioning. Let me clarify you this why I'm using these terms, because in the next slide even I will be starting with some new topic that how in different sort of optimization algorithm we can use this. And then definitely I'm just explaining you that why I mentioned this about this dimension reduction also. So this is some optimization, these are some optimization algorithm. You can see genetic algorithm is one of the part of this, which is one of the part of AI actually. And also we can have some fuzzy logic system, and that ANN system what we can have. So I will be covering this part today. So now let me go to that next part, that is a genetic algorithm bit. Some of the application I will be showing you, that is some twist clustering technique, how we can implement this thing in different cases, not only in bioinformatics, everywhere different for solving different sort of problems we can definitely use this genetic algorithm. So how it is going to help you, let me say. So before that, I just want to mention why I'm going through quite interested, or why I feel motivated to work with this sort of environment. Why not I have chosen some bioinformatics data set. Don't keep this thing in mind that already every time I have to choose some of the bioinformatics data set, or I have to go for some conventional data set and then I can apply this sort of problem. So this is not any type of data set you can consider. This is a some simply some text data set, which is a social networking data set where I have really worked. And so this is one of the motivation, and that it is a huge source of information nowadays. Definitely, when I have started working in this area, it was almost 2015 around. Nowadays, too much data are available really, that from Kaggle, if you want, if you give any of the topic along with some coding, too much data used to come. So when I started working in this, sometimes we have to mail to the author even, that to ask for the data. Now the trend is not really like this everywhere. Definitely you can have so many data you will be finding, but this is one huge source of data. If you want to really work with some big data, then definitely you can go for different sort of OSN networks. So where every time that in all the microblogging sites, especially in last 2 years, if you see the statistics, that too much information are, it is overloaded with too much information. So people are definitely exchanging more and more information in the social networking. So that's why it's a huge source of information, and it is one of the challenging tasks for all of us to filter all the data and to give right information, to find out the spams, and to find out the legitimate information. So these are the few challenges what we have in front of our the researchers. So whenever we try to work in this area, our data set is quite larger. So this genetic algorithm, not only it can help you to find the optimal solution. One of the example I have just shown you, that two diagrams, that after genetic algorithm what you are getting, that outcome you are trying to fit in some machine learning outcome, because the genetic algorithm is giving you some best solutions. So you don't have to look into probability of all the 100 solutions what you have. If you are having 5 or 10 solutions from this, which are the best solution, so you can reduce the dimension, and with this 5 solution next in the, you can train your model, and you can come out your some good outcomes. So that's why also it is helping out to find out to reduce your dimension, and to find optimize your problem in such a way that you can reduce the dimension even. Okay, so that's why I was just trying to correlate this to term, that why I'm going for this social networking data and trying to give you demonstration. Because in most of the cases you will find that I find very less number of work has been done using genetic algorithm. Especially another a reason is genetic algorithm has so many processes. So if you go for all this mutation, crossover mutation, and all the processes, so if it's a larger data, sometimes it takes a huge time to train the model and to get the outcome. So that's why you can go for the reduction method, different sort of reduction technology you are having. You can go for data reduction technique, and then you can apply. So already I just told you what is the motivation of myself that behind this work. So you can consider few the sort of text data. So the problem is here, what I told you, the topic that using some genetic algorithm, I have tried to cluster only. So generally the clustering is really possible. There are so many tools nowadays available. If I say in any of my students, definitely you have also tried this initially when you have started working, that you will go for any particular tool like Orange, Spider, Jupyter, and Veka. There you will be having some ready-made codes, or there you will be having some ready-made tools you will having. If you feed the data in proper way in ARF or in CSV file, if you different give you different sort of clustering. But the problem is what different type of data you are using, all the data are not very much suitable to use all this sort of clustering. You may get some good, you may get some outcome, but every time that outcome is not that much sufficient one, or that much good one. So that's why if you are trying to identify, if you're trying to find out this sort of outcomes, so definitely you can definitely execute the clustering, but that cannot give you sometimes good outcome. So we are trying to find out some of the better approaches for the data set. So that's why we have tried to consider the data. And here you can say this is the target, basically what you have to do. So if you are having so many data, from that data you have to do some clustering. Okay, so for the clustering, how this experiments I have tried to find out. Anywhere if you try to go for any sort of data which especially text data, image data, so every time you do the noise reduction, so reduction is actually required, otherwise it will be very difficult and your outcome will not be very up to the mark. That's why you can go for this sort of algorithm. And definitely you can try to find out the removal of different sort of characters, smileys, links, and you can do remove the stop words. These are the some pre-processing what you can go through. And after that, now let's go to the directly to the genetic algorithm. Here I start with the genetic algorithm part. So initially when my data set, I'm having my data set, I have tried to map the data set, and it is a text one. I try to map the data set particularly in some document term matrix. Okay, so like this is one of the document term matrix what we can find it out. And where how many columns you are having, this is a small toy data set I have explained you. And how many based on the distinct word what you are having, I'm trying to plot it in the columns, and I'm trying to give some 10 values to show the presence. Now this is not that every time you have to go for bigrams. If you want, you can definitely go for different types of n-grams. So because as it is a microblogging data set, per document the content is very less, so every time I prefer to work with some zeros and ones instead of going for n diagrams, because every time the n diagrams in a entire matrix, very few words are there which is giving you the value which is above than 1. So that's why this is a dimensional matrix. We have taken two dimensional matrix when we are having n into m document term matrix. M means the all the number of columns, and n is here the number of documents. Then the next, when we are starting with the genetic algorithm, definitely we need to define some of the population set. So we are considering this is the population set what we are having. Now if this is the population set, this population set basically I'm trying to take it arbitrarily. Now definitely in some of the cases you can have the question that if you have already the input, and if you know you have to cluster already from where you will be getting the population set, where you will be having the all the solutions. So every time, believe me, in real life we don't have the solutions actually in our hand, and then we try to go for optimization. Some of the problems we can address in this way, that we are trying to find out the solutions arbitrarily. So this is one of the example. That's why I preferred you to show this sort of research work, that how you can address this sort of problem where you don't have any sort of predefined solutions. So that's why here I have tried to take some of the predefined solution with the population. And here the populations are like this. I have taken a set of chromosomes starting from, I have taken basically 10 chromosomes in a population set starting from C1 to C100. And all the dimensions, how many dimensions I had in the previous case, the same number of dimension keeping here, that is M. I have tried to create the matrix here. So this is my population matrix what I have tried to generate. Now here for the clustering purpose, before moving to the clusters, I will be getting so many clusters, then I will try to apply the methods basically what I've tried to do. So for example, just look into the first row I have taken. For T1 I have only three ones for the word Uttarakhand, nature and fury. So basically these three ones I'm having, and considering these three ones I am trying to create, I'm just trying to put this particular from this chromosome I'm considering here, that I'm having 1 1 and T1, T3 1 and T4 1. So basically I can see I am considering the C1 is the solution 1. So because this is my population, the chromosome 1 is solution, so I'm considering this is my solution 1, or this is the outcome of the first clustering I'm considering. So that's why this first column I have taken, and where I'm having 1 in the position 1, 3 and 4, I have tried to fetch the values from this, and I have tried to fetch 1, 3, 4 and M. So I have tried to fetch the value Uttarakhand, then I have tried to fetch Fury, then I have tried to fetch Monsoon, and then I'm trying to fetch this Hope. So taking a subset of the initial population or initial matrix, document term matrix, I am trying to create a projection matrix. So basically this projection matrix has been created from the initial document term matrix. So which are the columns I have considered, where in the chromosome 1 I am having 1, these are the column I have considered. And after this I'm trying to create a projection matrix, and when the matrix is being I'm trying to find out with the projection, definitely using any of the method, clustering method, conventional, you can find out your clustering outcome. In my case, I have tried to find out the clustering using k means, and you can definitely use another one. If you want, you can use some of the different methods, and you can definitely use ensemble one. This is the method I'm telling you, you can change in your way, and you can come out with some different sort of research outcome. So here you can see that when the document I have tried to consider for k-means algorithm, then definitely after the algorithm which has been evaluated, it should be measured with respect to some of the indexes. Now the clustering indexes, for clustering we have tried to find out some of the indexes, that is, I have taken DV index. Now there's a formula basically for the fitness, I have tried to define it here, that or considering some weight, and have tried to find out some of the formula. And now this is the outcome of my particularly any one chromosome, I got the fitness. So using the same thing, I have tried to find out the fitness for all the chromosomes, all 100 chromosomes what I'm having. Now this is the time when we can go for different sort of selection. So when the my chromosome set, first I have tried to find out the fitness function, I have calculated via some k-means algorithm. Then I'm going for selection method. So for selection, there are so many methods. You can use any of the ranking method. I have used your roll to will method. So definitely it is not mandatory that you should go for some conventional method. Definitely for selection, you can choose any another method also. That will be totally fine. And definitely after that particular method, what has been chosen, next time you can go for mutation. In the mutation, you can definitely you can go for crossover. In crossover, you can exchange information between every two documents. So that crossover, you can take two point crossover, single point crossover, 3 point crossover. That totally depends on you how you will be designing your program. And after that you can go for mutation. Some of the time mutation is not mandatory, so if you want, you can skip the mutation part, and directly you can come for the new solution. So in this way, you will be getting some more solutions, and definitely you can calculate the fitness function again. And whenever you are coming with all the fitness function, it should be executed for some many number of iteration. Either you can consider I will execute 100 times, or you can consider it is the best that I will just try to find it out as an optimization problem. So still when we can see some new good fittest number is not generated, so we can iterate and we can stop our process. So where we will see that we are getting the best fittest function, we can consider that is the big or the best outcome what we are getting. So based on this, we can give a conclusion that this is the best clustering what we are getting. And every time, as you many of your students here, especially I want to say you, it is not sufficient enough in our research work if you try to find out your research outcome, and if you don't try to compare with somebody else. So okay, so some of the classical methods or some of the research outcomes, definitely you can find out by some other researchers, those who have done. So definitely you have to compare your outcome with the different outcomes. So here I have tried to consider some of the hierarchical clustering, density based k-means, infomap, which is another community detection technique basically. So considering all, I have tried to find out. So if you're working with some graphical technique, definitely you should go for some of the community detection algorithm, because it's always give you some of the good outcomes. Okay, so here is the outcome you can see. And one thing, whenever you are trying to find out the outcomes for your clustering, every time please try to evaluate different sort of indexes. These are basically measuring indexes, like for different weight, as I told you, different weight we have tried to consider. So, and for case of k means also, you can see in the outcome I have mentioned so many things like 4, 5, 6, as we have to define k. So from this example where I have tried to find out k, I have tried to gather some of the expert opinion, which is called the ground truth. And from the ground truth I have seen that 4, 5, 6 different combinations which are the experts are giving, that original data set can have this many number of outcomes. So that's why I have tried to find out all the outcomes and find the experimented the result for all the outcomes. And here the proposed outcome comes with this for 100 iterations. And also until unless it converge or it receives it achieves its final the fittest outcome. For both the cases I have tried to find out. And everywhere we can see the the finally that for 100 iterations, if you are having 6 number of clusterings, it is giving me the good outcomes. So that's what it is bold here. So definitely you can say, and this is the final comparison comparative analysis with the conventional method or classical clustering method. That is, I have tried to take it here as k-means density based and hierarchical, and also the infomap one. And the proposed method is quite giving better outcome than the conventional one. So that is one of the motivation why you should propose your own method, how you can use in your evaluationary method, how you can work it in our basic to address not only the evolutionary problem. Nowadays machine learning, everybody is adding this machine learning, deep learning in their work. So don't only use the conventional classifiers and clusters, how you can use some sort of evolutionary approach, and you can just correlate this thing with your machine learning one. This is one of the application. So I try to show you, I truly believe that every time if I go through some of the theory part, that how the evolutionary algorithm works, what is genetic algorithm, this not much be sufficient for you. Instead of this, if I try to show some of the application, that will be definitely good one. And you will be having also some idea that how you can relate your work into some other approaches, right? So another topic I just thought that I can just cover this. This is one of the fuzzy inference system what you can go for your cancer prediction, or you can go for any sort of data set you can take for any sort of prediction you can use. And where basically we are having the fuzzy inference system. This is a cancer prediction problem. So basically we all know that cancer is one of the dangerous disease, and still it if it reaches in a very earlier stage, if it is identified, maybe there are chances, definitely we can try to heal this one. But if it is in the last stage, definitely it is not in our hand. So whenever we are trying to find out different sort of and prediction we can do based on different sort of features, not only this. Nowadays if you try to analyze your gene at any age, they will try to give you a statistics, the medical science can give you a statistics whether you are having any chances to fall in cancer or not, because some genetic information, some genetic code actually carries this information. And not only this, that if they cannot analyze it in your earlier days, you will not have, there are so many probabilities. But apart from this, those who are having some of the medical history at their family, that any of the few of the members already got died from cancer, so medical sciences already come up with this sort of techniques. They can analyze all the genetic code and they can give you the outcome for this sort of predictions they can give you. So as I told you, I will be taking some fuzzy inference system. So this is the basic architecture of fuzzy inference system. And we have to give some crisp output, because every time whenever we are using the fuzzy models, so definitely the fuzzy models will not initially, every time the model outcomes outcomes or inputs may not be fuzzy. So according to our problem what has been given, we have to basically design the fuzzy system. So we need fuzzification, that we can exchange the crisp values into the fuzzification one. So that has been done here. And then definitely we will be going for different sort of models you can use. Here I am trying to show some of the rule based system, and you can try to apply some fuzzy inference system. And then after that, after the defuzzification, whatever the output you will be coming, you can definitely convert into crisp output and give a certain output to the authors, or to the outcomes to the users. So you can see that this is the experimental data set what I have tried to consider. These are the features actually what I have tried to use. And the data set actually one of the clinical data set what I've tried to consider for university. I've taken it from the University of Medical Center Institute of Oncology. Basically it is from Yugoslavia, and this has been taken. And these are the features you can see. In different range of features are given, so any specific range is not given, that if a person will be at 12 age, then a person can have prediction or not. So every time in medical terms we have seen some of the ranges used to come. If you go for any sort of pathological test also, they will be giving you, if you're male, if you are having age you're this to this end, then your parameter will be like this. So every time there is no particular prediction in many of the cases. That's why this sort of problem we can handle using fuzzy system. Okay, so that's why you can see that range of ages are given, and the menopause is also given, that whether it is a pre-menopause or the generic one. Then the tumor size, it can be of different size. So what can be the tumor size at which age, that also varies, because a tumor also needs some time to develop itself. Sometimes it is very fast growing, so at what age what person is having what probability, that you can also consider. Apart from this, another few features are also there in nodes, node caps, and degree of malignancy. Then it is a basically breast cancer data set what I've tried to consider. And some of the classes are also mentioned there, that is no recurrence event, no or recurrence event. Okay, so next you see that how this sort of problem we can convert. So if from this I have basically tried to consider many of the inputs. So for your example purpose, I'm showing you the two basic inputs what I've tried to consider. That is, one input I have taken age, another input I have taken tumor. In both the cases you can see the values are not exactly crisp. The values you have to make it crisp, and then you can exactly feed it into the inference system. So fuzzification is mandatory, it is required definitely if you are having this sort of ranges. So definitely you see that for a particular age I have tried to create a fuzzy ranges, and I have tried to show it in the fuzzy graph even. But the same thing in the case of tumor sizes also, I have tried to display a particularly tumor size, how it can look like, that is shown here, you can see. And for others inputs, if I am trying to consider which are the features you are trying to consider, you can choose this one, and definitely you can apply this. And this is basically how it should be mapped, and corresponding value with the membership value that you need to evaluate. Because every time we know the falsification is not sufficient, when we are getting the fuzzy items we should also have our membership value. So this is how we should calculate. Definitely I have tried to calculate the fuzzy values in this way. Next you can see that the prediction, now we are moving to the inference system. So it is some sort of prediction system based on the values, based on the ranges, we have to come to a particular solution. Few of the rules we have tried to identify, and now based on the rules we are creating the rule based fuzzy inference system. And then in the next phase we have tried to just plot all the rules you can hear. So whenever you will be writing your research paper, please try to give this sort of mathematical outcomes and mathematical derivations, because these are really required whenever you are trying to convey your paper in some good conference and in in some good journals. These are really required to have some good quality of research work. And definitely after the based on the rule, when it is designed, we can have the rule based falsification system, take some test data and try to test it out whether the outcome is coming or not. So definitely, as you can see, I have tried to consider one level data. So definitely it is very easier for me to train my model with some data, and using another some model data I can kept as a test data set, and definitely it can be chosen for testing of the fuzzy inference system, and we can come with some valid outcome. Now after this implementation, when it will be done, definitely when we are getting the output, we should use a well-known method, which is center of gravity method. I have tried to use, which is helping me out to find out for the defuzzification, and to get the proper output, whether it is non-recurrence or recurrence. So as it is a classification problem, so definitely you can go with this values, that how you have to find out the precision, recall accuracy, and some of the basic classifier definitely try to use to show your outcome, that you have come out with, either you are taking best outcome or you are coming with some uh, uh, less than any another classifier is getting better outcome or not. And here also we have seen this is we are getting some sort of good outcome, because here the fuzzy problems are there, we can address this problem. And also one thing, the same problem, if you want, you can use some optimization technique like evolutionary algorithms, you can definitely use, you can go with genetic algorithm even, and you can definitely come with some good outcome. So here are basically, I have in the entire talk, I have covered the end of my talk, and here in the entire thing, I have tried to show you that what is the majority or the basic concept of the fuzzy system and the genetic algorithm in terms of evolutionary algorithm, basically in genetic algorithm. So the end, some sort of different data sets I have tried to show you, that where you can in real life, where you can apply your techniques, your methods, and you can come out some with some good outcome. Apart from this, definitely you can use some sort of graph clustering method, where also you can apply some genetic algorithm to, or in EPSO model you can use, definitely you can go for swap optimization. And there are also some new add-ons are definitely coming. So definitely you can come out with some good results. Okay. And one thing, especially wherever, one of the disadvantage I should mention, that what I personally felt, if you're having very larger data set, then it will be really difficult for us to come, we may get good outcomes with genetic algorithm, but this is one of the advantage also. If it is a very large data set, then your progress will be very slow, because if it is a 20 lakh data set and if you go for genetic algorithm, then definitely this crossover mutation every phase is, sometimes it may takes a long time. So that's why if the length of the data set is quite higher, and if you want have trying to opt this genetic algorithm, then try to reduce your dimension, and definitely then also we can use it. And in the combination of deep learning and the combination of your machine learning, definitely you can go through for it. Okay, thank you. This is my mail ID. If you are having any question, or if you are having anything to communicate for any further reason, definitely you can do this. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable insight on this topic and share for sharing your experience. Um, let us, I guess, wait for some time if we have any questions from the audience themselves. I guess, I guess we don't have till now. Uh, so thank you all for joining today's session, and all the related links, and ma'am ma'am's personal LinkedIn, okay, our LinkedIn website and ma'am's email ID also is shown, and feedback. Okay, there will be a feedback form from us, and we would very much appreciate if you feel this. It is good to know how the event are going on from your side. So
Thank you. Thank
Thank,
you.
thank you again, and thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I'm